We will call the organizational school board meeting for Monday, April 26, 2021 to order. And I will note public access to meetings. Due to the public health emergency and the need to limit gatherings, we are continuing to encourage members of the public to attend school board meetings remotely. However, we have opened up the ability for residents to also attend in person if they choose to do so. We'll move into item 2, which is the oath of office, and it is the ceremonial oath of office for elected board members, and I'm going to turn that over to Barb Portson.
Okay. We have 3 board members that we have to give the oath to. Judy, Mike, and Meg. Okay, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Meg Erler,
Good job. Having been elected to the school board
having been elected to the school board
of the Stevens Point Area Public School District,
of the Stevens Point Public School District,
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin,
and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
and will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties
of said office to the best of my ability.
of said office to the best of my ability.
Thank you.
Thanks, Barb.
You're stuck with us now for 3
Official.
years.
Yeah, we could sing welcome back.
So we will move into item 3A, which is roll call and verification of quorum. Carlin, if you could call the roll, please.
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Mansky.
Here.
Ms. Va. Mr. Pope.
Here.
Ms. Portson.
Here.
Mr. Wade.
Here.
Ms. Scott.
Here.
Mr. Ebel.
Here.
Ms. Rano.
Here.
Ms. Erler.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Move into item 4, the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 5 are public comments. At the March 8th, 2021 meeting, the school board approved reinstating in-person public comment at meetings and will also continue accepting comments submitted by email. There is no one here from the public present to submit a comment. We did receive one email comment that I will read from Yvette Domaradsky. This letter is in regards to mask requirement for children in schools. Many doctors and scientists have been speaking out about dangers of mask wearing. Masks reduce oxygen intake and cause many issues among people, including headaches, difficulty concentrating, anxiety, rashes around the mouth, nausea, hyperventilation, fainting spells, anxiety, reluctance to attend school, malaise, impaired learning, fatigue, and drowsiness. Overwhelming majority of children and young people have no symptoms or very mild illness when it comes to COVID. Therefore, masking our children is causing more harm than good. The requirement for children to wear masks in school should be removed immediately. Sincerely, Yvette Domaradsky. And she was addressing the agenda item of the superintendent's report with her comment. And that is the only comment that we received. So we will move into item 6, which is selection of temporary chairperson to preside for the election of president. And a temporary chair will be named to conduct the election of the board president, who, when named, will preside over the remainder of the meeting. Traditionally, the superintendent is named by a motion and second to temporarily preside during the nomination and election of the president. So I am looking for a motion to appoint Superintendent Gerlach as temporary chair.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Portson and second by Wade. Any discussion or questions on the motion? All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed with nay? Motion carries.
Okay, the protocol for the election of board officers for 21-22 is the following. Nominations for office will be opened. If only one candidate is nominated, the board may elect by unanimous consent or acclamation, or request to vote by secret ballot. If more than one candidate is nominated, a secret ballot will be taken. If no candidate receives the majority, balloting continues, retaining on the ballot all candidates who do not voluntarily withdraw. The superintendent and the board secretary will count the ballots, and then I, as superintendent, will announce the new president, and the new president will continue nominations for the other officers. At this time, I will accept nominations for board president.
I nominate Meg Erler.
Are there any other nominations? And a third time, are there any other nominations? Meg Erler has been nominated as board president. Is there a motion accepting Ms. Erler's presidency?
So moved.
So move, Scott. Second?
Second.
Wade?
Pope. Pope, yeah.
All in, we good?
G made
Oh,
this.
G.
Sorry.
G Pope, sorry, G. All in favor of Meg Erler as president for the school board for the year 21-22, signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Congratulations, Meg, you are the board president for 21-22.
Thank you, everyone. All right, we will move into nominations for the vice president of the board. Do I have a nomination?
I'd like to nominate Jeff Eagle. Forgot your name. For vice president.
Are there any other nominations
Was there a
for
second?
vice president? With nomination, there's no need for a second. Are there any other nominations for vice president? So, hearing none, Jeff Ebel has been nominated for vice president. So we are looking again for a motion by acclamation. Do I have a motion to appoint Jeff Ebel as vice president?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Portson, second by Wade. Any discussion or questions? All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed with nay? Motion carries. Congratulations, Jeff.
Thank you.
All right, we are now moving into nominations for the position of clerk. I am asking for nominations for clerk.
I'd like to nominate Barb Portson for clerk.
Are there any other nominations for clerk? Barb Portson has been nominated. Are there any other nominations for clerk? Hearing none, I'd look for a motion to appoint Barb Portson to the position of clerk by acclamation.
So moved.
Second.
So it's a motion by Scott, a second by Ranow. Any discussion or questions on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed with nay? Motion carries. Congratulations, Barb.
Thank you.
Moving into nominations for the position of treasurer. Do I have a nomination for position of treasurer?
I nominate Mike Wade.
Do I have so we have a nomination for Mike Wade as treasurer. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations for treasurer? Hearing none, I'm looking for a motion to approve Mike Wade for the position of treasurer.
So moved.
Motion by Scott, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Rob Mansky. Any discussion or questions on the motion? All those in favor with aye, say aye. Aye. Any opposed with nay? Motion passes. Congratulations, Mike.
Thank you.
We are moving into appointment of board secretary. I am looking for a motion to approve Carlin Krautkramer as school board secretary.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Barb Portson, second by Judy Ranow. Any discussion or questions on the motion? All those in favor with aye?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed with nay? Motion carries. Now we will move into election of chairs for standing board committees. I am looking for nomination for recommendation for the position of Business Services Human Resources Chair.
I'd like to nominate Mike Wade.
We have a nomination for Mike Wade to serve as Business Services Human Resources Chair. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I would look for a motion by acclamation to appoint Mike Wade to the position of Business Services Human Resources Chair.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Ebel. Any discussion or question on the motion? All those in favor with aye, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed with nay? Motion is approved. I am now looking for a motion for the position of Educational Services Committee Chair. Are there any nominations for the position of Educational Services Committee Chair?
I'd like to nominate Rob Mansky.
We have a nomination for Rob Mansky to serve as the Chair of the Educational Services Committee. Are there any other nominations? Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I would look to a motion for acclamation to appoint Mike Wade to the position of Educational Services Committee Chair. Excuse me, Rob Mansky.
He's going to be
Nice
busy.
try, nice try, man.
He's always doing so well.
Oh, we're on a roll.
Anyway,
So
so
moved.
again, Rob Mansky, and that's a motion by Rano. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Barb Portson. Any discussion or questions? The motion is to appoint Rob Mansky to the position of Educational Services Committee Chair. Hearing none, all those in favor with aye, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed with nay? Motion carries. We'll now move into appointment of board members for standing board committees. We have and this is for board members only. We'll be addressing citizen members down the way. And we are looking for board members to indicate interest in educational services. Rob Mansky as chair. So are any board members interested in serving on educational services?
I would be.
G. Pope. Why don't you go ahead and write that down?
I would be as well.
Ann Vonk. And Barb Portson. Are there any other board members interested in serving on educational services? We are limited to 4 board members, so with the 3 that have indicated right now, then we would have a full committee with respect to board members. So I am looking for a motion to appoint Pope, Bonk, and Portson to educational services.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Scott, second by Ebel. Any discussion or questions on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed with nay? Motion carries. So now we're looking to the Business Services Human Resources Committee. I am asking for interest of board members to be on that committee, and typically we've had each board member other than the president serve on a committee.
So that would be the
I
other.
would be.
The other.
So we
Then I
have
guess that kind of
Ranow,
Van Ebel, Scott.
Ebel, Scott.
The leftovers.
Not the leftovers.
Hey, leftovers are great.
I know. They're better than the original. That's right.
Is there anybody else interested in this committee? Hearing none, I would look for a motion to appoint Judy Ranow, Jeff Ebel, and Chris Scott to Business Services Human Resources.
So move.
Second?
Motion by Wade and second by Portson. Any discussion or questions on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor with aye signify aye.
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 Any opposed with nay? Motion passes. We'll now move into the appointment of board members to ad hoc committees. Our first committee would be Boston School Forest. I am looking for interest from board member with respect to Boston School Forest.
I'd be interested, but I also had a question. We sent in a survey and I saw a chart somewhere.
That's
Is it
correct.
possible to display up there?
I don't know if we have it available. I guess maybe why don't we just talk about all of them at this point? We've got Boston School Forest.
Well, there were
CISA
3 of us for Boston School
Yes,
Forest.
CISA 5,
Rob.
district negotiations, technology, and WASB delegate. So why don't we, if we could note maybe up on the board interest, and typically we have had, we've tried to split them so no one board member's doing more than one of those, so long as we have someone interested in them. So Sarah, would you be able to note interest?
feeling very Vanna-esque.
You're doing a great job.
Well, she's doing that. Can I ask a question? So it's about committees. So these are kind of our standing ad hoc committees. Are we going to be doing strategic planning or anything again this year?
Yes, next
So
year
you'll
is
need-
the last year of our fifth-year plan.
Okay,
And I have contacted Joe Schrader,
okay,
who facilitated 4 years ago, and we're working out some dates in the month of January.
okay.
And so when we get the dates firmed up, we'll start developing a committee, and there will be board representation on that as well.
Okay.
I think the last strategic, did we have
I
3
don't,
or 4?
who was on that in this room?
Yeah, I was on it, and Judy and
I
I.
was, and Barb was on it,
But,
so I think we had
you were on-
4.
But I think wasn't the whole board invited?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
to
anybody that
participate.
wanted to attend could attend.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I think we had 4 board members that were appointed on,
And I
with
think
the
we kept
group.
under 5, when we.
The others were invited
Notice
to
anyway.
just observe.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm looking at,
This is everybody, and then Ms. Randall indicated she's
Your name's
willing
not
to
up.
serve.
Wherever fits, yeah.
okay, and Mr. Ebel as well had indicated interest in wherever
Right.
to serve. Okay, so I guess I'm looking, maybe we can start it this way. We have one board member, Mike Wade, interested in WASB delegate, legislative liaison. So you're the one, Mike, I think. So I'm looking, why don't we just, so we've got Mike Wade there.
Take 'em out,
We have
yeah.
G. Pope, CISA 5 delegate. So if you could maybe take, Mike, if you're okay with it, off of technology,
Yeah, I'm fine.
I don't know, maybe process. So then we have Rob Mansky interested in technology steering committee. So if G and Rob, are you okay being taken off of Boston School Forest?
Yeah.
And allowing Barb to serve on that committee?
Sure.
So maybe we could do that.
Yeah, I'd be willing to serve on negotiations again. I did that last couple of years.
Okay, do you want to add him there? Are you okay with that,
Yeah.
Judy?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so I guess I'd be looking for a motion to support the slate of candidates up there. Mike Wade as WASB delegate, Rob Mansky as Technology Steering Committee, G. Pope as CISA 5 delegate, Barb Portson as Boston School Forest, and Scott and Ebel as District Negotiations.
Move to accept the slate of delegates as presented.
Second.
So a motion by Ebel and a second by Ranout. Any discussion or questions with respect to that motion? Hearing none, all in favor with aye, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed with nay? Motion passes. So we will move into item 11.
Meg, could I just ask a question?
Yes, G.
Will
Yep.
we get a readout of this? Can somebody
Yes.
get a copy?
Definitely. We'll wind up, Carlin will be providing an updated list
Okay.
of what everybody's appointments are. Thanks, G. So we're moving into appointment of citizen members to standing committees. So this past year, due to COVID-19 and the suspension of committee meetings, citizen members appointed in 2019 were unable to serve their full term. The term runs for the school year. That's how we've been operating, so it's been a July to June. So we are asking the board to consider approving the continuation of the previous citizen member committee appointments for a full year term. What we would do is we would have Carlin reach out to those committee members. Ed Services Committee members were Leslie Russick and Melissa Barkley. And Business Services, Human Resources citizen members are Ari Vang and Ted Kowalski. So we would ask, I guess we're proposing that we would ask Carlin to reach out to them, and if they are interested in serving for a full year, then that would come back to the board at our next meeting to approve them. In the event that one or more of them are no longer interested in serving, then we would again have Carlin then reach out to the public and indicate what vacancies were available, and then we would be looking for applicants. And what our policies provide is that the chairs of the committees would then take a look at those applicants and make a recommendation to the board as to who to appoint to the committees. Are board members comfortable with that process at this point? So because it is not in accordance with our policy, I guess I would be asking for a motion to approve the continuation of the previous citizen member committee appointments for an additional full year term in the event they are interested in serving in that capacity.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ebel, second by Ranow. Any discussion or questions on that motion? All those in favor with aye? Aye. Any opposed with nay? Thank you. So Carlin will go ahead then and reach out to those citizen committee members, and then we'll get back to the board. Either we'll be looking to appoint them at our next meeting, or we will be reaching out to the public for new applicants.
Meg, is that starting for the next school year?
It would start for the next school, and it is our hope, it is our intention that we will be restarting committee meetings as of August. That is the plan right now. That we're hoping that we'll get back to that new normal, now normal, in August with our committees reconvening and moving forward. All right, we will move into item 12, which is our consent agenda, and this evening we have recommendations for employment in front of you. So I would ask for a motion to approve those recommendations.
Move to approve.
Motion by Ebel. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Wade. Are there any discussions on this? So I will note for board members, about a year ago, I want to make sure, I want to confirm that people are comfortable with this. We found that especially at this time of year, that if we waited to publish the packet until we had all the employment recommendations, that oftentimes, especially in this May, June, July, August time, that that HR was sometimes not finalizing those recommendations until the Monday of the board meeting. And so the list that had been provided in the packet wasn't up to date, and it was leading to confusion with board members as to who's being recommended. So we are looking to continue this practice this year of providing you with an up-to-date list of those employment recommendations at the board meeting, because it's very likely that, especially over these next number of months, as I said, HR may be adding adding people they want us to recommend, to approve, on the Monday of the meeting. And we want to get people approved at this point as efficiently as possible. We don't want to have to wait another month, if HR knows that they've got someone that they want approved by us. Are board members okay with that, of getting that up-to-date, individualized? We'll clearly be letting the community know in our open, in our agenda, that we will be approving employment recommendations, but we will be seeing that final list then on the Monday of board meetings. Are board members comfortable with that? Is anybody uncomfortable with that? Okay, so we will continue to follow that practice. So I think I need a vote, because I don't think I took it. So all those in favor with the motion to approve the recommendations for employment with aye? Aye. Any opposed with nay? Recommendations are approved. We'll move into item 13, superintendent's report.
Okay, the operational status update related to COVID case rate. We are as low as we've been at 0 staff members with testing positive, and 2 quarantine students. We have 2 students and 37 quarantine. We had our second dose of our vaccination administered with our local school clinic on April 14th. We did a staff survey, and we had approximately 45% of our staff from the respondents went through the school mobile clinic, and about 45% went to local providers. 10% are choosing not to, which is, for percentages, is much higher than averages. We are going to return to school 5 days a week. K-12, it does say in my report, all grades, K-12, only 5 days a week. Early childhood and 4K are going to continue with their 2-day cohorts, beginning May 17th. We have registration for summer school at this particular point in time. We're anticipating a fairly robust summer school program for the obvious reasons of what we may have lost through COVID and the need for additional remediation. The SPASH Gala will be at the Holiday Inn on May 15th, and we are holding an in-person graduation at our field house on the same day that we typically do, Sunday, May 30th. Unfortunately, we will have limited seating. Typically, we have 6 tickets per student. We're going to have 2 tickets per student. We also, unfortunately, are going to eliminate just about everybody else, including the school board. Meg, as board president, will attend to hand out diplomas. So apologize for that, but we're doing the same with faculty, students. We aren't going to. We're going to have piped-in music, for example. We won't have any live presentations or live performances for graduation. Again, just trying to reduce the number of people in the field house. Charles Fernandez and Project Search will be at the auditorium at SPASH, as they typically are, on May 27th and May 28th, respectively.
Craig, I had a question on one of those. Is the SPASH Gala, is that a school-sponsored event?
Yeah, yes, it is.
So there would be school officials there?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Principal Wallendorf is administrative team. Typically, what you would see at a homecoming, at a prom dance, at a the graduation project graduation. Yes.
And there's one, or I misunderstood last our last meeting, is there a senior one and a junior one, or is there
We have a
one?
one gala event scheduled for May 15th. I think you might be referring to one of the speakers at Open Forum indicated that there was going to be a junior and a senior prom. I don't know the status. That is non-school sanctioned. I don't know anything about that.
Okay.
That's probably what you heard.
Yeah, I got those two.
They are advertising for the junior prom, I've seen.
Yeah.
So the proms we have nothing to do with?
No.
Okay.
Any other questions for me?
Do board members have any questions of Craig with respect to the report this evening? I guess I just have a question for you. Did you say 45% were part of the group and then approximately 45%?
We have 90% of the staff
So 90% of our staff have
that's responded to the survey.
to say that they had been vaccinated?
Right. We had 349 respondents.
Okay. Of those that responded?
Yeah,
Okay.
of the
Okay,
350, 90% indicated that they've been vaccinated, half through our mobile clinic and half by their own provider.
okay, okay.
And if, the first survey we took was stating how many staff were interested in getting vaccinated. And I believe that number was 75% of the respondents. So we're not comparing apples and oranges there. I think when people receive that email, obviously it's not required to be vaccinated. It's not required to take a confidential survey. I imagine a number of people said none of your business whether I did or not.
Okay.
But of those that did respond, there's 90%.
Okay. Barb?
Craig,
Barb and then Ann, go ahead.
Sorry. What kind of a reaction or feedback have we gotten on that survey for 16 and 17-year-old students?
Well, like everything else, people don't,
Read.
the information was, are you interested? And if you're interested, the county is going to provide an opportunity if there's interest. It doesn't have anything to do with us. We are not providing or offering or administering, but the feedback we got was, oh my gosh, I can't believe you guys are gonna vaccinate our kids. We are not vaccinating anyone. We're simply communicating. But that was very limited. And I don't know the status. Gary had asked us as well as all the other schools in Portage County if there's interest, then they'll hold a clinic at Portage County on a Saturday for 16 and 17-year-old students that want to be vaccinated.
Ann, you had a question?
Yep, so I apologize if this was explained, but I just want to make sure that I'm clear on this. So all grades are going to be returned to school 5 days per week, so that means no more e-learning effective May 17th? Or does that include e-learning 5 days a week?
All students grade K-12. Connie?
Hi, everyone. Students that are in the online learning center in grades in elementary and in secondary, they're going to continue with the online learning center. These are students that started that second semester, and they'll finish that. And the online learning center, as you know, is very flexible, so they'll continue with the online learning center. All of our students that started back with us second semester in person, rather than coming in there 4 days a week, they will come 5 days a week.
Okay, so the changes are going to be for students who are currently doing in-classroom learning. They will now be doing 5 days a week and not the 4 days. Anyone who is doing the OLC or online will continue to do that same, and they will only be doing the 4 days a week. They are doing the 5, because I know, like, my daughter is in 5th grade, so for Wednesdays, they don't really have any in-person classes. They have more like, hey, this is your day to catch up with your schoolwork, so that will remain the same for them then.
And I believe so for the elementary, they're still going to use that Wednesdays as a catch-up day. For the secondary online learning center, kids are learning at their own pace. Some complete the course within, 3 months, and some take longer. So it's, again, very, very flexible. But you're absolutely right. If students were in the online learning center, they are going to continue with that. model for the end of the school year.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Say, Meg, for
Yep.
the record, Corey Hirschbrunner is sick today. That's why she's not up here.
Okay, okay.
Hey, Meg.
Yes, Mike.
On the graduations, the Project Search and Charles Fernandez Center, are those closed ceremonies like the SPASH ceremony, or would we be able to attend those?
I will let you know on that, Mike. That's a great question. My guess is there's going to be an opportunity for you to attend because it's a much smaller, but that's a very good question. We'll get back to you ASAP.
Are there any other questions of board members with respect to Craig's report? I guess I'll just ask, I know you don't have numbers, but I asked last time, summer school enrollment, how's that going?
I don't have numbers. Connie, I don't know if you've got a number you want to throw out yet.
I can share that within a week of summer school registration opening, we had 1,500 registrants. So
Wow.
1,500 enrollments. So within the first week, it just it boomed. There's a high interest in that, and we can bring much more accurate numbers for the May board meeting. But it seems to be going really well. There's a great variety of classes, lots of different options for kids, from enrichment to remedial. So we really saw the minute it opened, the enrollments were just coming in very quickly.
Are we doing, I mean, we clearly have heard and we clearly understand that, that kids have struggled more this year than other years. And are we doing any additional reach out to, you know, certain kids that may have really struggled more than others this past year and families to encourage that involvement in summer school?
We have, and we were actually even reached out to all of our teachers to make sure that they are communicating with students or families who might benefit from summer school, making sure they know when the enrollment and how to enroll, and when the timeline is. I will share with you that we were very pleased when we looked at our third quarter grades at the secondary level. The number of student failures went down significantly, and you know, we can't necessarily attribute that to any one thing, but I do think our secondary schools that implemented Wednesday school for students who were struggling really made a significant difference. I think our teachers did a phenomenal job of taking a look at what the essential learning targets were for second semester and really focusing on that, maybe backing off a little bit on homework, and being more flexible with grading in terms of allowing late work. But we were so pleased with our third quarter grading report in terms of failures. And I think we've reported it over the course of the year that we had some concerns, but that was significantly improved for third quarter. So I think that extra support that the staff have offered with Wednesday school, as I mentioned, and all the other supports that teachers are offering is really paying off.
Thank you. Any other questions of anybody?
Just one for Connie. You said that they significantly improved. I think at the last meeting, I think Sarah sent out something that said that was 17% of the students were close to failing, or there were that many failing grades.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important distinction, G. When we look at all the grades that are posted at semester, we were looking at 17% of all grades posted. So you can imagine 3,000 students times 6 or 7 classes. So, but of all the grades, this last third quarter, of all the grades posted for all the students in grades 7 through 12, we were at 9%, which is a tiny bit higher than normal, but very similar to what we've seen. So that was so encouraging, because from a secondary perspective, we're hoping that that we can help kids enter their next grade without being credit deficient, because that's a tough thing to dig yourself out of. So that our efforts that our kids are passing and moving on to the next grade and to the next instructional level and to the next courses that they would have had COVID not hit. So we were really encouraged with that significant improvement in grades.
And I had one more question following up on what Meg was talking about with summer school. In some cases, I believe, in talking to some teachers, they said that they were not able to cover the necessary content due to COVID and online materials and stuff, things like that. And I'm wondering, is that content going to be built into summer school, but then not all kids will get it? Or will there be some way that we can say, for example, have first grade teachers talk to second grade teachers and say, we didn't get this far, you will have to cover this, and on up the line? I don't know, is that something that, is there a reason for that? I mean, should we do that, or is it not going to be necessary?
It's probably one of the most important things that we're doing right now. In fact, our August theme when we come back is going to be, where are our kids at? How do we assess where they're at, and how do we fill the gaps? Last Wednesday, in fact, all of the math teachers in grades 7 through 12 met at the Spash Library, distanced everywhere, but we took every teacher of geometry from Ben, from PJ, from Spash. They met as a team, determined what were the targets they were going to meet by the end of the year, where will the kids come into for the next math course, and how do we fill the gaps. So it's really, really important that we have that vertical alignment so that the geometry teachers know exactly what algebra covered and where they got to, and then looking at strategies to fill those gaps. So we are making sure, we know that next year is going to look different. We know that curriculum adjustments have to be made because we had to determine what the essential learning targets, but we're not alone. Every school in the country is doing that same work because not all content that was covered, and I hate to say the word covered, not all learning targets were met. So those are the kind of discussions we're having, not only within a school, but within all three schools, because we teach the same courses, in many cases, particularly math.
And would we have something like that in the elementary also? I mean, to give the teachers time to sit down and talk about it. And Wednesdays are a good day, but if they need more time, I don't know. Will they need more time, or can they do that in the remaining Wednesdays?
We're really fortunate the way the calendar worked out by chance for next school year is that we will have 4 days prior to the September 1st orientation day, 4 days that teachers can sit in collaborative teams and talk about what learning targets were met and what gaps need to be filled, so that communication be really clear. And as we all know, kids are going to come to us at very different levels, and it's going to be a difficult time assessing where kids are at, and most certainly figuring out instructional strategies. But at least teachers knowing where the previous teacher ended up by the end of this school year is going to be important. And it's just fortunate our calendar gives us that extra day this August to have those collaborative team meetings.
With the 4 days right at the beginning of the year, that's a little late to make those adjustments. I was wondering, maybe we could be flexible if teachers wanted to meet in the summer and use those days for the summer, or just some arrangements so that they can get together and plan those curriculum changes to give them time.
And teachers are meeting every Wednesday now as course level teams and as elementary grade level teams. So I feel like we're pretty well aligned just with those Wednesdays. Those days are dedicated for teachers to have those collaborative team meetings. And so they're sharing lesson plans, they're making sure that they're on the same essential learning targets. And that was exactly the idea for Wednesdays, is to make sure we're sharing lesson plans, we're adjusting our curriculum, and we're making sure that kids are having the similar experiences by grade and by course.
Thank you.
Thank you, Connie.
Thanks, Connie.
Bet.
Any additional questions of Connie or Craig at this point by board members? All right, thank you. We'll move into item 14A, and I'll turn it over to Mike.
Let's see, 14A, approval of signature facsimile resolutions. Dr. Owens, would you like to describe that to us?
Sure, this is an annual event required by statute because, as you know, tonight we just appointed a new board and officers, et cetera. So the approval of these resolutions just help us streamline the ability to continue to use the facsimile signatures as required throughout the daily
Any questions of Tom?
So I will move to approve the to continue signature facsimile use resolution and the new signature facsimile resolution.
Second?
So I have a motion by Wade and a second by Portson. Any discussion or questions of board members? All those in favor with aye? Aye. Aye. Any opposed with nay? Motion passes. Moving into item 15, meeting dates, times, locations. I will note we have our regular school board meeting on May 10th. We now are planning to have our first equity, diversity, and inclusion training on May 24th. We had talked about it tonight, and we just, not knowing what would happen with the organizational and knowing we had a closed session tonight, we thought it would be better if we really had a meeting that was focused right on that training. By the time we have that training, everyone else in the district will have completed their second training. We will be planning to have our first training in May, and then we'll be looking to either have another separate training focused on the training, or we will include that in our board retreat for this summer. We'll just see how things are shaking with respect to that retreat. So we will keep board members informed about that, but if everyone can note that May 24th training, and our plan will be to have that here. Again, we encourage board members to attend in person, although if any board member, for whatever reason, needs to attend remote, we are going to continue to be supportive of that as well, moving forward. So I am looking at the need for a motion to go into closed session, and
Meg, I'm sorry to interrupt, but
go ahead.
as far as the times for the retreat, have any times been
So what we have done, well, clearly we didn't have one last summer. And our retreat, our retreats started, I think, about 4 or 5 years ago. We started doing them, and they have evolved. Our last retreat prior to COVID was at Boston School Forest, and it was an evening. I believe it ran from 6 to 9. At that retreat, we had all of our department heads, the directors came and provided us with a synopsis of their strategic plan for the coming year. And then in the second half of the meeting, Craig is the superintendent, we did your review, and Craig also outlined his goals for the next school year. Then based on that, the board had some discussion about what the board goals might be, and then we actually brought that back at a later meeting to approve it. And the board's really been approving one goal. I think our goal 3 years ago was enhanced supportive communication, And then the next year, it was supporting implementation of the referendum projects moving forward. And then, of course, last year, we didn't have one. So, but we'll be reaching out to board members. It gets tough because we're looking at scheduling this in June or July. And it's essential that every board member be in attendance. And so, you know, sometimes you've had to go back out 2 or 3 times with dates just to make sure we come up with a date and a time that works for all board members. So we will.
Which we need to do now.
Which we need to do now. So we'll probably be getting that sent out, you know, within the next couple weeks. That Carlin will send out some dates and see, you know, what we're attracting in terms of board members' ability to attend, because we all have different vacation schedules in the summer. COVID clearly has impacted that, I think, for all of us, so.
June tends to work better than July.
June does tend to work better than July. So we'll get that out, G. Thank you. Any other questions about that at all? All right. So I'm looking for a motion to go into closed session under Wisconsin statutes 19.85 paren 1 paren C and 1985 paren 1 paren E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, specifically to approve the July 1, 2021 to June 30th, 2022 SPAEA contract.
Move to go into closed.
Motion by Ebel, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, who was that? Was that you? Oh, Rob? Second by Rob. All right, any discussion or questions on that motion to go into closed? I will have Carlin call the roll.
Ms. Reno,
Yes.
Mr. Ebel,
Yes.
Ms. Portson,
Yes.
Ms. Scott,
Yes.
Mr. Wade,
Yes.
Mr. Pope,
Yes.
Ms. Va,
Yes.
Mr. Mansky,
Yes.
Ms. Erler.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, so we will now be in closed if every